Hello and welcome back to another In Up Weather video. Today we are talking about the 10th formed storm in the East Pacific. This is Tropical Depression 10E, which is a fairly insignificant storm. It's forecast to remain a tropical depression, so we're going to go through this pretty quickly. So here's the current statistics of Tropical Depression 10E. The depression currently has maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour, minimum central pressure of 1,007 millibars, and is moving west-northwest at 8 miles per hour. So we're going to move on here to the track and cone. So the forecast track line has this storm drifting off to the west and really not remaining a tropical cyclone for a while. Really until late in the day on Sunday, and then it transitioned to a post-tropical cyclone. This storm is still south of the 20 degrees north parallel, but just doesn't have the energy to really use all of that strength. Here is the depression. You can see that most of the storm is actually to the west, and that is because of wind shear. That's really what's going to be driving the quick in and out of this storm. It is expected to be short-lived because of that wind shear. So let's move on here to the track here. And this is our global hurricane models, generally showing that shift to the west. But a few spaghetti strings, as I like to call them, do have it going every which way. When you have these very insignificant storms, that can happen sometimes. But in general, west. Moving to the west at this point. The GEFS agrees pretty much. A slight northwest to west turn instead of the straight west track. The GEPS has that straight west trajectory, and the European ensemble actually has a slight west to southwest turn here. Now our intensity guidance has 2 to 3 models here, showing tropical storm strength, but again, the median line here is a tropical depression, so most likely going to be staying a tropical depression unless things change drastically within the next 24 hours, most likely. So here is the GFS, and you can see our tropical depression here just kind of getting torn up by the wind shear, and we can kind of look at our wind shear here, and you can see that this storm is right in the middle of it. Pretty intense wind shear, but in terms of our wind shear anomalies here, we are looking at days 1 through 5, abnormally high wind shear in this region of the East Pacific between now and the end of this storm, which is going to be in the next 5 days. So you can see potentially in this area 10 to 20 miles per hour, or knots, 10 to 20 knots above average in terms of bulk wind shear. So the ingredients for the storm to grow into a tropical storm just don't seem to be there. And the European model does agree with this, having this storm die out fairly quickly. And we could also go in here and look at our wind shear as a reason why. You can see the low pressure here. It is in a little area with less wind shear, but it's not going anywhere where the wind shear is any less. So it really doesn't have a pocket to move into where the wind shear is any less. It's actually just fighting against the odds. It's surprising that it's even a tropical depression at this point. And you can see here we also have a wind shear anomaly here, and same deal, 10 to 20 knots above the normals for wind shear. So when it comes down to it, the wind shear is really going to be hindering the lifespan of this storm, and it's going to devolve from a tropical depression to a remnant low here very quickly. So that's why I kind of glossed over a lot of the more important information that I usually go over here, just because the ingredients for this storm to remain even a tropical depression don't seem to be in the cards for this storm system. Nonetheless, even worse for a hurricane or tropical storm or any of that. So really insignificant storm, but it did form, so I like to keep my bases covered. But if you found this video informative and kind of going into a little bit more of why this storm isn't going to develop, I have a video coming out just a few hours from now about the Atlantic hurricane season and why there hasn't been many named storms so far this year. I go full nerd into the deep statistics and models of hurricane season in the Atlantic, so check that out by subscribing and hitting the bell so you do not miss that video or any other informative videos about meteorology and the weather. But that is all I have for this storm. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.